So, today we are going to talk about Malaysian Airlines 370. Why and how a Boeing 777 can disappear from the face of the earth. So the story starts from 8 March 2014. 8 March 2014, Malaysian Airlines 370 was a scheduled flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, China. Those were the regular flights that Malaysian Airlines takes from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, China. And this time when they were boarding, there were 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board. The condition was okay. The plane was a Boeing 777, popular Boeing 777, and it was a good aircraft, a very well made new aircraft that had gone in the fleet for so many years. Boeing 777, yeah, that was a Boeing 777, and it was in a great condition. After boarding also, it was in a great condition. And then 42 minutes past midnight, Malaysian Airlines left Kuala Lumpur and was heading to Beijing, China. So for 37 minutes, it was a commercial aircraft in the sky. And after 37 minutes, they would reach the point that would get the plane to Vietnam airspace. The Malaysian airspace said good night. Bye-bye to MC-70, and the Vietnam airspace was going to take over. Now, when the Vietnam airspace was going to take over, they thought they would get their contact of Malaysian Airlines 370, but minutes passed, hours passed, they didn't get any contact. So now, my discovery, if it's a terrorist attack, they would probably crash the airplane. But no, the aircraft was in great condition, it didn't crash, okay? And if an engine blasts or explodes or gets on fire, it is unheard of that the plane will veer off 180-degree turn. No, I don't think, okay? And the real reason is that Captain Sahir Ahmad Shah was turning the plane to 180 degrees. The captain was Captain Sahir Ahmad Shah and the co-pilot Farik Abdul Hamid. He was the first pilot he was the first co-pilot for the 777, and Captain Sahir Ahmad Shah turned the transponder off. Also disabled the passengers, oxygen. He decreased oxygen level and disabled the passengers. And then he turned 180 degrees, crossed the Malaysian and Thailand border, and then turned towards the Pacific Ocean. Now, if he wanted to suicide the airplane, if he wanted to kill a lot of passengers, he didn't want any disruptions from the phones or from people calling anyone or from people texting anyone. He would never want that, okay? Because his intention was to crash the plane, so he didn't want it. So now the plane was in the Pacific Ocean, and there was only water everywhere, okay? So yes, the plane was in the water and proved it kept flying for 6 hours. Means it was still in a perfect condition when turning. It flew for 6 hours straight until crashing into the ocean. So now it crashed into the ocean. It flew for 6 hours. Why? One, they wanted all the fuel to run out before crashing, and he didn't crash immediately because why? Because there was still a lot of fuel on board. And if you crash a plane with a lot of fuel on board, it will explode and catch on fire. So yeah, he flew the plane for 6 hours and crashed it. And he flew the plane for 6 hours for second reason, to make it disappear. Yeah. and then after that, traffic control thought it was not in airspace anymore. It was not, the Malaysian airline is not in airspace anymore, and it is far from airspace. So, so few years after that, they found a flapper on. That didn't bring much evidence, but it brought that the flap was either extended or either not extended, whatever, but it was extended. And they also proved that that co-pilot Abdul Hamid's cell phone was on during the turn. When the plane turned, it was on. So why did he do the suicide? So he did the suicide because his wife and son left him. Okay. So if my friend would break up with me, I would find a reason why, and I would solve it. I would never do this kind of activity like Captain Sahir Ahmad Shah did. He suicided a plane. He killed his wife and 239 people on board total, and they were dead. So the plane crashed in supersonic speed. So no evidence was discovered. Men investigated. They found nothing. They were searching the wrong direction. The plane had gone further, and they had not found this plane, and it crashed. So in this video, you learned that when something bad happens to you, don't do exactly bad to yourself also, and many other people. You don't take many other people's life. You realize what you have done, and you solve that matter. Okay, and the crashes that happen, we learn from them is why they happened. Okay, so we learn that why those crashes are happening. So, like I told you on 7-Eleven, there was a like entertainment problem and all. The wire was arcing and it catch on fire. So when they discovered it, then they make so that it would never happen again. So yes, this makes us sure that nothing like these disasters can happen. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and oh sorry, I just said food. So yeah, and stay in the Convincing Pilot. Okay, you are going to learn all of them.